Um, Good news. I'm not going to be reading from Jeremiah this morning, but we're going to Psalms 19, and we'll start in verse 7, and we'll go until Reggie signals me to shut up. Uh, Give an ear, and in giving an ear, I'm sure you're all aware of what tried to transpire this past week. Don't be dismayed. Uh, the Most High is still running things. The surprises are to us, but they're not to him. And regardless of how chaotic things appear, we still serve the one that has everything under control, even when it doesn't appear to be under control. Give an ear. The Torah of Yah is perfect, restoring the inner person. The instruction of Yah is sure, making wise the thoughtless. The precepts of Yah are right, rejoicing the heart. The mitzvah of Yah is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yah is clean, enduring forever. The rulings of Yah are true. They are righteous altogether, more desirable than gold, than much fine gold, also sweeter than honey, or drippings from the honeycomb. Though through them your servant is warned. Through them your servant is warned. In obeying them there is great reward. Now I'm going to go further, but I want to stop and let what I read in your hearing marinate a little bit. Because, a lot of us are, curious about a lot of things, and we're all looking for direction. We're consulting with friends, with confidants, with people that you feel you can trust. And all of that's good. But the prevailing question is, what do we do? What do we do? And, I have said in times past, and I'm going to repeat it, the crazier things get, the more people should look to be in the company of Torah followers. I'm going to say that again. Instead of moving away from those that are trying to live by the instructions of the Most High, instead of hitching your wagon, so to speak, to a large crowd that is partaking of vain philosophies, uh, poor interpretations of the Holy Writ. Find somebody that's trying to live their life by how Yah is leading. See, the crazier things get, you need to be in the company of stable people, not necessarily overly emotional. Let me read this again. The Torah of Adonai, they say Adonai, I like to say Yahweh. The Torah of Yah is perfect, restoring the inner person. That's the unrest. See, right now, I mean, you know, what we saw a day or so ago troubled a lot of people. You know, and I don't want to get into, you know, everybody wants to give their opinion, you know. Social media, the legacy media, and I will say this about giving your opinion about something like that. We're really giving your opinion about anything. Keep this in mind. When you give your opinion about something, you usually reveal more about yourself than you would like. Keep that in mind when you're ready to give your opinion about something. You may be divulging more of yourself that you wish to keep secret. Now, I'm not saying don't have an opinion. I'm not saying don't give an opinion. But keep that in mind. Sometimes you're revealing more about yourself when you take it upon yourself to give your opinion about something. See, it really was a time for diplomacy, but it turned into almost a TV show. And I'm not saying that out of disrespect to anybody holding office. But there was a time for diplomacy because things do have to, listen, something's got to be worked out. And again, and I pray that something can still be worked out. But it gave a lot of people unrest. A lot of people were uncomfortable. And believers, you know, I was sharing with the guys on Friday. I said to them, the situation that the president of Ukraine found himself in, I said to the guys yesterday, I said, listen, I said, fellas, I sense that what he went through, some of us are going to go through. See, when things get chaotic, people are viewing those that have integrity. The light shines brighter on you because, see, a lot of people that you may associate with, or you may interact with on a daily basis, some of them wonder in their hearts, are you for real? And when things are well, everyone can present a certain type of disposition. Like today, the sun is shining. So, it's a nice day, but, if it was raining, we might still feel like it's a nice day, but we'll say, man, it would be a little better if the sun was shining. And where am I going with this? See, what I'm saying to you is when things get tight, and I've said to you in times past, I said, when things get crazy, people are going to come to you because they view you as stable. See, a lot of people that are saying, follow me, I got the answer, they are as unstable as Reuben, Jacob's son, his oldest, was. And his dad told him when he called each one of his sons, he kind of read their mail, and he said, Reuben, you're the son of my youth, but you're as unstable as water. And I'm saying sometimes, even in our circle of influence, or our circle of friends, or our circle of colleagues, or whatever we get caught up in, there may be someone in that circle that, in the event you have a need, they may agree to help you. And when you need that help, for some reason, either the circumstances or their willingness to help, there may be a little dust up. And you're thinking, well, I've been friends with these people for whatever. Why is there some hesitation? They agreed to help. And now that I've come for the help, there seems to be a problem. What is going on? And again, I'm not qualified to, I'm not judging anybody, because I think what we witness on camera really does happen between leaders, but it's usually behind closed doors. And I do think from time to time they do talk pretty rough to each other, but it's usually not played out in front of the press like it was. And again, once again, I'm certainly not a politician, and didn't run for public office, but I was hopeful that diplomacy would take place, but it didn't. But hopefully things will still work out. And again, you might be saying, well, Barry, what does this have to? Why would you tell the men that look out, because this sort of thing can happen to you? Because once again, when you're trying to live your life according to the way the Most High says, those that may not necessarily see the importance of it, they may be waiting for an opportunity where their help is needed, so they can kind of, it's almost like they put it in front of you, and when you reach to get it, they kind of pull it back. Now, they're gonna keep their word. They have that much integrity. But for some reason, they want to, it's as if they want to toy with you a little bit. And some guys, particularly when they're with their group, they're bolder. Whereas if it was just one-on-one, man-to-man, he might not try some stuff like that. But I say to you, once again, that's all the more reason why those that are looking to follow his instructions, we got to walk in our integrity all the time. Because when you least expect it and when you most need the help, that's sometimes when certain people like to show their behind, and that's not a bad word. Have you ever been in a situation where you've done what you could for anybody, when you could, how you could, wherever, and then as soon as you do need help, you can't contact nobody, you can't, and then the people you do catch up with, well, I would, but I got this, and it's like you want to say, oh, okay, it's okay. It's like that. I'm not asking you to raise your hands, but just think about that. There have been some times where you made a call and you're thinking, well, surely I can count on this person. Hey, and you find out, well, I'm getting ready to wash my hair. I'm getting ready to wash my car. Well, it can be discouraging. It can be discouraging. But again, I point you back to that his Torah, his instructions are perfect in restoring the inner person. See, when you're wounded, when you're disappointed, sometimes some of us can do a good job of still smiling, and some of us are too quick to say, that's okay. And it really ain't. You were really counting on them to come through. And they give you some flimsy excuse. And to add insult to injury, once they tell you that flimsy excuse, they gone on. Praise the Lord. They gone on. And they are no longer concerned with that brother had a need. And they've forgotten about it. Listen, I've had times where I had people were supposed to do a building, and sometime I was on my way to pick them up. Sometime they were already supposed to be there, and my phone would ring about 15 minutes before they were supposed to be there. They ain't coming at all. And sometimes people think, well, I did call 15 minutes before. Yes, technically, you did call. But I want to punch you. See, folks, you know what brings out that those type of excuses? You know what makes a person so at ease that when they let you down, it don't bother? Once they give the excuse, they feel like they're free. That's a person that has become too casual with things. See, I don't care your favorite automobile. If you don't maintain the automobile, one day you're going to get in it and it's not going to start. And the car don't care. I don't pay for you. I don't have a note no more. But it still needs maintenance. We get in relationships. We get in marriages. And we think, that's it. No. There's maintenance that has to apply on a regular basis. Friendships, they need maintenance on a regular basis. The The Torah of Yah is perfect, restoring the inner person. The instruction of Yah is sure, making wise the thoughtless. See, a lot of those people, a lot of those casual mindsets is because they got in their minds a tea party. And yes, life, there are many times to celebrate in life, but sometimes there's serious times in life, and we need to get having tea parties off our mind and deal with this situation at hand. Yah's not against tea parties. He's not against celebrations, but every day, what do we think this is? Sometimes, folks, we've got to hone in on serious matters. And I know. You know, we've been taught, just throw everything on him. Well, if we throw it on him and he's the one that's stirring the pot, what do you think he's going to do? If all this unrest is at his hand and we just say, well, I'm going to give it back to him. He said, well, I gave it to you. So what are we playing? Tennis? What do we do? Everything's in an uproar. The instruction of Yah is sure, making wise the thoughtless, and they could say the careless. The precepts of Yah are right, rejoicing the heart. We gotta anchor ourselves in, Father, I don't have a solution, and you're not giving me a solution, and I'm not saying I rank or I deserve a solution, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what you say do, and I'm going to do it the way you say do it. That's the best I can do. And that's the best any of us can do. I've said in times past, and I'm going to say it again, folks, stop living a life of sacrifice. He would rather you live a life of obedience. Let me say it another way. When I review the many sins I've committed, it's no need of me telling him I'm willing to crawl to China on my hands and knees through glass. That's a sacrifice he didn't ask me for. And I'm using myself. You think of your own. You got enough stuff to think of yourself. See, we think we can make up for some of the stuff we did, and so we think of something almost crazy and think we're going to keep it up. It's almost like when we sin, we make a New Year's resolution, and most of the New Year's resolutions, about the second week, some of us done stop. And it's the same. Oh, Father, I know if you get me out of this, I won't do that no more. How many of us have said that? And all he's saying is, Barry, listen, hush up all that noise. And I mean, sometime, boy, I had an ugly cry this morning, but it was a good cry. See, but I know a lot of times we are really sorry for what we did. But why do we start talking about what I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that? No, stop. Just be obedient to his instruction. That will please him. Going all over the world, a lot of them. I'm going all over the world and I'm going to do this and I'm going to proclaim and I'm going to do this. And he said, listen, go apologize to your neighbor next door. We don't want to do that. It's like that king that had a STD. And the prophet told him, go dip, because he asked him to go to God about it. And God told him, tell him, go in there and dip. And the king got mad, like, what? Is that all I got to do? See, we try to complicate things. And he's saying, Barry, it's simple. Okay, I heard you. Don't do that no more. Now get in my instructions and do them. I mean, after about the 5th time for the same mess, don't you get a little tired of making all these promises that you ain't gonna keep? So why say it? That's just like, you got a friend. I'm not even going to pick a marriage. I'm going to just say a friend. And all the time you all are trading pleasantries. Yeah, man, you all right. Yeah, you all right too. Yeah, man, you all right. And then as soon as there's a real need, you can't count on that joker for nothing. Or when they show up when it's convenient for them. Folks, we do that to people. And people have done that to us. And it ought not be so for those that are trying to live their life by his instruction. Now, other folks, because of what's being taught, they'll think, once I give you a reason or excuse, I'm done with it. And they don't think about it again. And then that same person will turn around the next week and ask you to do something. And guess what? They expect you to do it. What would happen if you gave them the same flimsy excuse they gave you? I can tell you what'll happen. A whole lot of other folk will get phone calls. I thought he ain't what he said he was. See, that's what I call being plastic. See, that type of scenario, that's a plastic saint. The precepts of Yah are right, rejoicing the heart. The mitzvah of Yah is pure, enlightening the eyes. We've got Christianity uses the term, baptism or whatever, but, you can do a mitzvah, when you've messed up, you can do a mitzvah. You can go down to say, I'm going to seal it. I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to seal this. Go down, come on out. Ladies, things that happen in your youth, after that's over, they would take a ritual immersion bath. Same thing. Same thing. Another way, a sin offering. There are a lot of ways we can get back on track with him. But see, we're not taught about that. And here's another one. It says, the fear of Yah is clean, enduring forever. Again, remember, I was using that thing about, listen, there needs to be a certain fear, a certain reverence because of who he is. See, when we think we're too familiar, see, He's the Most High, first and foremost. Now, I know he said, I am that I am. But some of us like to see him a certain way, and that's the only way we want to see him. Some of us think all he do is give you stuff. You pray a certain way on a certain day, and you wait so long, and here it comes. But there's more to him than just that. And so what happens is we end up what? Seeking his hand when we should be seeking his face. And that's not all our fault. But again, we're trying to get out of the victim Olympics. We're trying to rid ourselves of excuses that we have allowed ourselves to live by. Let's live by his Torah, not what's being proclaimed, because there is a difference. And when times get tough, we're going to need that difference. And other people are going to need us to know the difference, because when they come to us, we can help them get through it. The fear of Yah is clean, enduring forever. The rulings of Yah are true. They are righteous altogether, more desirable than gold, than much fine gold, also sweeter than honey or drippings from the honeycomb. Through them your servant is warned. See, sometimes he doesn't unfold the whole thing. You know, you have a lot of people, there are a lot of people would have you think that it's almost like the Most High, when he meet with his council, he makes a beeline to wherever they live, whatever country they're in, and he gonna tell them his plan. That's the way a lot of folks carry themselves. That's the brand they're selling. And some people are buying it. This thing about branding is real. It's used in business, it's used in marketing and all of that. But listen, when it comes to life, you want to know who you're dealing with. You don't want to know them by their brand. You want to know who they are. When you forming relationships, you don't want somebody that's promoting a brand. Somebody once said, and this was just one example. Somebody said, if you really want to know if you got a real friend, call somebody and have them meet you at the airport off the cuff and see what they do. See if they'll do it. And you might say, well, that's a simple thing. Well, it might be, but it may not be. See, a lot of people will help you as long as it's convenient for them. And that's how that thing kind of went sideways, because one president, he admitted, yes, I need help. But another president, I don't know, for whatever reason, sometimes, this is what I'm saying, mostly among guys, but I would imagine women have some ways they do some stuff too. But if you tell somebody you're going to do something, do it. That's what Torah teaches. And it's just that cut and dry. If we're going to be friends, let's not be plastic friends. Let's be real. Now, that don't mean we may not disagree about something. We might. But even in the way we handle the disagreement, let us have integrity even in that. Mm. It says, through them your servant is warned. In obeying them, there is great reward. He's telling you, if you follow Torah, great reward. So those of us that like a lot of stuff, but you probably done found out, the more stuff you get, the more stuff you got to dust off. The more stuff you might trip over in your house. The more stuff, don't raise your hands. How many of you was out maybe shopping or something and bought things, brought it home, and found out you had 2 or 3 of them of the same thing? You got too much. Correction. We got too much. See, in rehearsing the instructions, it says it brightens the eyes, it illuminates the eyes. In other words, it sharpens your thinking. You begin to realize, hey, listen, why am I doing this? And folks, let me say this. There's a difference in following Torah and coming to church. I'm not saying don't come to church. But I am saying they are not the same. Through them your servant is warned. In obeying them there is great reward. Then listen a little further. Then he says, who can discern unintentional sins? Cleanse me from hidden faults. So what he's saying is we got some stuff that, some stuff we ain't unearthed about ourselves that's maybe not too nice to him. Because a lot of us say, oh, I know myself. Well, really, do we? Presumptuous sins. I remember Pastor used to talk about that, and he said unintentional sins. He says, cleanse me from hidden faults. Also, keep your servant from presumptuous sins, so that they won't control me. That's how, and again, I'm not picking on them, that's how we become addicts. See, you keep rehearsing a thing over and over and over, and before you know it, Nan's calling you. Can I walk by a lemon chest pie and not want to cut it, want to slice? If you put $1,000 on the other side, I can make that, and pick that $1,000 up, and then go buy me 3 lemon pies. Or worse yet, if it's 1 slice left. Now, I happen to know Millie liked lemon chest pie too. So, it's 1 slice of pie left. Now, what would be the proper thing for me to do? The proper thing for me to do would offer Miss Millie that slice of pie, because I know she would enjoy it. Now that's what I should do. But what am I going to do? If that last slice of pie is in my house, presumptuous sin. See, folks, when listen, In times like this, we need to be real with each other. And we need to know, we need to understand, we're not just calling each other to just test you. If you call and it's a dilemma, it's serious. I mean, we can call and check on each other. I'm not saying that. But this thing about just casually, somebody's in need, and you can casually blow them off, and then don't even think about, well, I assume they understood. I had to get my hair did. What? Well, they'll forgive me. See, that's the kind of teaching that's been taught. That it's all right, they'll forgive you. In Torah, he said, and it jumped off the page to me, and I've been trying to live by it, and don't get it right 100% of the time, and sometimes I willfully say, no, I ain't doing it. Knowing that there's going to be some consequences for, no, I ain't doing it. But he said, basically, if it's within your power to do good, he said, just do it. See, that Nike need to pay him residuals because that's their slogan. He didn't say whether you like them. See, that's another thing. Well, I barely know them. They don't even speak to me in church. What's that got to do with anything? See, Torah teaches, Torah is succinct, to the point, direct. Torah is presented in such a way you either gonna obey or you're not. Now we can excuse whatever. But it's like he's saying, Barry, are you gonna do this or not? And I just told you earlier, there have been some times, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. And that's not wise. Also, keep your servant from presumptuous sins so that they won't control you. Then we will be blameless and free of great offense. See, sometimes I've told you before, I know we hear all the time about, again, how wonderful we are, but sometimes we irritate him. Sometimes we frustrate him. That's why we're not in Jeremiah today. But even when he's correcting us, he says, remember how your parents used to tell you, this is going to hurt me more than it hurt you? And we had a hard time believing that. But really it's true, because why? They want you to do right. He's the same way. He wants us to do right. Some of you remember my mother used to say, he likes to lead us with his eye. But when we constantly disobey, she said, the thing that'll get us to turn is called agony. And sometimes we have done things in such a way, our lives are so jacked up, we ain't got nothing else to do but cry out to him. How bad do we have to mess things up before we realize, I need to stop this? Then I will be blameless and free of the great offense. And then we all know this, but we used to say, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. But this is another way they say, may the words of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart be acceptable in your presence, Yah, my rock and redeemer. Now, I don't have but about 13 minutes left, and somebody is saying they can't come fast enough. Give an ear to this, because for those of us that are trying, really trying, Father, I just want to be obedient. I want to be obedient, son. I want to be an obedient daughter. I want to be obedient. I want to be obedient. All right? Well, get in there. Read what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm talking to you. Still yourself. Even in your prayer time. Take time to see if he got something he want to say. Stop just reading off our list. Some of us know our list by heart. And, not that I'm any authority. For myself, when if I got something on my list and it's been a while, it's been years, something wrong with what's on my list or something wrong with me. It's one of the two things, but ain't nothing wrong with him. So either I'm wanting something that ain't good for me, and here's another thing, particularly those of us that can't nobody you can't tell me God didn't tell me this. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to argue with you about that. But here's the thing. Keep this in mind too. This may help somebody. Yes, he may say yes. But how did he say yes? Barry, what are you talking about? Importunity. Most of us know what importunity means. Importunity means if you're in need of something, keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. In the 2nd century, the people of God had begun to amass quite a win record. They would go to war, and they would pray. And they would go to war, and of course the Most High would lead them in victory, and they would be victorious. And so they got a little proud of themselves. Sound like anybody we know? They got a little proud of themselves. They began to become entitled. Some even became casual. I don't need to do all that. God always answers when I pray. Be careful with that kind of attitude. You don't move heaven. I don't either. Be careful with that kind of. And see, that's what's being taught. And so, after a while, they started sinning. And so, another situation comes up, and they say, okay, we'll do what we always do. We'll pray, and then we'll go to God. And they went to God, and he told them, he said, should we go to war? He said, yeah, go to war. Man, they got tore up, annihilated. And they came back, but you told us to go to war. And then he read their mail to them. So what am I saying? I'm saying you may have been bombarding heaven about a certain thing, a certain thing, a certain thing. And so the Most High says, all right, Barry, go ahead. Now, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to tell the men's group, God, I stayed on my knees and I kept on, and God said, go ahead. What he was saying to me was, son, I've told you no. You're going to persist. Go ahead. But you'll get everything that come along with the consequences go along with the action. See, most of us, we want the action, but we don't want the consequence. So when he says go ahead, yes, he's saying yes, but he'd rather you not. Again, he'd rather we be obedient. So that's why nobody's calling you a liar. I know God told me, yeah. But my question to you would be, brother, sister, how did he tell you? And we go, wait, You can't get on God's nerves. Yeah, Jeremiah and the prophets is full of man getting on his nerves, frustrating him. He's asking, how long are they going to backslide? This is the Most High talking. But we don't hear that in most houses of worship. And that's what makes us entitled. That's what makes us real casual. I might come, I might not come. If I come, hey. God got me. Man, we gotta watch that. That stuff's not good, man. Your group might think it's cute, but it's not good. You might want to rid that stuff from yourself. And if you see it in your children, get it out of them. You need to be honest with them and say, hey, Mom and Dad, no, don't do it like we did it. Son, daughter, grandchild, learn to be obedient. And they can start with you. But there's a good thing. In 20, it says, may Yah answer you in times of distress. Well, we in times of distress right now. May the name of Yah, may the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and give you support from Zion. May he be reminded by all your grain offerings and accept the fat of your burnt offerings. May he grant you your heart's desire and bring all your plans to success. See, as long as what we want lines up with his instructions, it's yours. It's ours. But again, sometimes we keep, what do we used to say? I'm going to bombard heaven. I'm going to send up timber. And sometimes we have sent up strange fire. See, it's not a plaything. It's not something to be played with. It's not something to be casual about. It's not something that you think you're on the inside. I'm in good with the Most High. Oh, really? Oh, really? So you saying you have no fear? You know, even with Yeshua. Sometimes the fellas, we try to treat him like he's one of our bros. He's not our bro in that way. Ladies, sometimes we go too far the other way. He ain't that either. He's not your boyfriend. He ain't your man. See, these things make us entitled, they make us casual, and we get sloppy. And when the people of God start living casual, sloppy, entitled lives, we get the mess we got now. And not just here, all over everywhere. Every country got something going on. And there's not but one entity that can do that. He sits high and looks low. And so my thing is, you know, people are asking, what do we do? What do we do? Get in the Torah. Get in the instructions. Learn them. Get in there. Rehearse them. Walk in them. So that he can see, I see what you're doing, son. Keep it up. I see what you're doing, daughter. Keep coming. Keep coming. It's still going to get a little bumpy, but keep coming. Because again, I'm telling you, people are going to be looking for you, and they're going to be looking for you to help them out of their dilemma. And the Torah will give you the wisdom as to what to say, how to direct them, how to help them. And as they grow, you grow. Again, the more chaotic things get, hey, get with some people that's solid. Don't get with a lot of overly emotional folk. And I'm not knocking emotions, but sometimes they can mislead us. Now, being contrite, that's an emotion. Yah likes that. It appears, and I'm saying that because of his word. I'm not saying that of any authority of my own. I ain't nothing. And I do mean that. I'm not just saying that because I'm in church. We are just willing vessels. 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 God bless you.